5 years after the breakup, I suddenly received a call from Lucas. Sophia, let's get the marriage certificate at the Civil Affairs Bureau in 5 days. Our wedding will be held at Hill Manor, which is the grand wedding I promised you. My mind went blank instantly, and in shock, I blurted out, didn't we break up 5 years ago? From the other end came a scoff, break up? I never agreed to that. You suddenly returned to the country, isn't it because you heard I was getting married? Don't worry, the bride is you. As for Susie, I hope you can be magnanimous. During the more than 1,800 days and nights you were away, she was the one who accompanied me. I believe you can treat her kindly. I rolled my eyes and hung up directly. Suddenly, several bullet comments appeared in front of me. The female lead left without a word for 5 years. Don't look at Lucas being tough on the surface, his heart is actually about to shatter. Lucas released the news that he was marrying Susie, but it was actually to give the female lead a grand wedding. See? As soon as the female lead returned to the country, he eagerly came looking for her. What was Lucas doing earlier? Now I have a virtuous husband and both a son and a daughter at home. Who cares about that pile of crap like him? I pressed the power button, and threw the phone, bombarded by countless messages and calls, aside. In the middle of the night, I vaguely heard continuous knocking on the door. Open the door. Sophia, how long are you going to be willful? The noise was really disturbing the neighbors, so I abruptly opened the villa door, and Lucas, looking a bit disheveled, stopped in his tracks. His gaze fixed firmly on my face, then scanned my body, scoffing, "TSK, without me, have you fallen to this sorry state?" Only then did I notice that the homeware I had hastily put on was my mom's. The color was a bit outdated, but it was comfortable and material. I was just about to speak when Lucas interrupted, "All right, since you know you were wrong and have come back, I won't hold your angry departure from back then against you." Lucas changed his tone, his smile slightly restrained, "But the slap you gave Susie back then, I can't forgive you on her behalf. Now that we can get married, it's all thanks to Susie's magnanimity. I hope you can apologize to her. Susie is gentle and kind. During the days you were away, she took care of me. Because of you, I couldn't give her a proper status, but I hope you can treat her like a biological sister, and together we can give her a home." In my heart, 10,000 grass-mud horses were galloping, but on the surface, I showed no reaction. Because I was no longer the young girl from back then, and Lucas was no longer worthy of stirring my emotions. If I got angry, he might think I was jealous of Susie. "Lucas, what makes you think I can't live without you? Have you ever thought that 5 years is a long time, long enough for me to have gotten married and had children?" Lucas's gaze swept over my slender waist, sneering, "In the entire circle, who doesn't know you're my, Lucas's, woman? You've had a bad temper since childhood, willful and immature. Besides me, who would tolerate you? Sophia, now that your family has declined, which family would be willing to let you enter as the matriarch? Besides me, who would marry you?" Heh. I found it amusing and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Lucas and I were from matching families, with an engagement set since childhood. Although it was a family alliance marriage, our relationship was good, and he had promised to hold a grand wedding for me at Hill Manor after graduation. But before graduation, he killed Susie's grandmother in a speeding accident and was entrusted with her care on her deathbed, from then on having a little tail following him. Susie kept provoking me, and finally, I couldn't hold back and slapped her. Lucas held her in his arms, looking disappointed. "You clearly know how pitiful Susie is. She's lost her only family member, and I'm her last reliance. Can't you yield to her? In my heart, she's like a sister, and you'll be her sister-in-law in the future. Can't you stop being so petty? It seems I've spoiled you too much usually, you should calm down." The so-called calming down meant ignoring me for 3 months, taking Susie out every day to show affection. Everyone knew that Lucas had dumped me and had a new love. I left him a message, "Let's break up." And without looking back, I went to Paris, France, for a trip to relax. Unexpectedly, that trip led me to meet my current husband. You laughed, so I know you have me in your heart, otherwise, why would you smile at me? Lucas reached out to touch my cheek, but I sidestepped, retracting my smile. I'm naturally fond of laughing. It seems Lucas misunderstood. Lucas shook his head helplessly, showing an indulgent smile. Sophia, you're still as naughty as before. Fine, after we get married, you can't dodge me anymore. I know clearly how much you love me. After 5 years of waiting, I will definitely give you the most perfect wedding. Seeing the conversation getting more off track, I stepped on his toe and grounded hard. Taking advantage of Lucas's pain, I quickly closed and locked the door in one go. Unfortunately, I was wearing flat shoes, not high heels. Through the thick door, I left him with one sentence: Lucas, get lost, it's been over between us for a long time. Bullet comments appeared again. Good news, the male lead has grown a mouth. Bad news, why did the male lead grow such a mouth? It would be better to poison him mute. Finally understand why the female lead baby ran away. He deserves a life sentence without a wife. I even want to slap the male lead hard. Female lead, stay single and beautiful, please. Lucas looked at the shoe print on his foot and instead showed an expression as if he saw through me. Alright, since you're shy, I won't go in today. Tomorrow, I'll send someone to deliver the wedding dress to you. Try it on to see if it fits. The dress was chosen by Susie. It fits her perfectly. You girls have similar tastes, and you don't look fat, so you should be able to wear it. My upbringing doesn't allow me to curse out loud. Suddenly, I regretted refusing that person's accompaniment. Coming back to the country alone first was indeed a bad decision. I couldn't help but kick the door, signaling him to shut up. Lucas frowned. Sophia, you really need to change this temper of yours. After becoming my wife, behaving like this won't be presentable. You should learn from Susie in this regard. In the past 2 years, the family business has indeed been declining. With my parents getting older, after handing over the business entirely to professional managers, they came to my side to enjoy family happiness. Therefore, at this moment, there was no one else in the villa besides me. Otherwise, I would have called someone to drive him away long ago. Lucas, Susie is so good, why don't you marry her instead? I meant this sincerely. I have to admit, they are quite a match. Like pot match's lid, just don't come to harm me. From outside the door came Lucas's laughter again. Sophia, you're jealous again. I've said it many times, in my heart, there's only you. I won't respond to Susie's love. Just obediently wait to put on the wedding dress and be my bride. Listening to the footsteps fading away, a sense of futility like playing lute to a cow arose in my heart. Fine, in a few days, my parents will bring the children back to the country, and that person will come too. Once Lucas sees them, he naturally won't entangle me anymore. After dawn, the Liu family indeed sent someone to deliver the wedding dress. It was in a gift box, and I didn't open it. Having already worn a one-of-a-kind wedding dress custom-made for me, who would care about a second-hand dress that someone else has tried on? I took the gold-embossed invitation handed over by Lucas's assistant Sean. On the bride's side it had Susie printed, which was then crossed out and replaced with Sophia. I laughed and threw the invitation back to Sean. Assistant Sean, you must have found the wrong person. The wedding dress should be sent to Miss Susie. I think she would be more than happy. Sean's face changed abruptly. Miss Sophia, this was originally supposed to be Lucas and Miss Susie's wedding. It's because you butted in that Lucas changed his mind, and now you're putting on an act. I really don't understand what Lucas sees in you to hurt such a kind and wonderful Miss Susie for you. Indeed, proximity to vermilion makes one red, proximity to ink makes one black. Bad brains are contagious. I ignored Sean barking behind me and strode away. Having been away for so many years, I really missed Yanting's private dishes. Perhaps I've been unlucky lately. My car broke down halfway, so I hailed a cab to Yanting's entrance. As soon as I got out of the car, I saw Lucas just opening his car door. He raised an eyebrow. You just returned the wedding dress I sent, and now you're following me to Yanting. Sophia, can you not be so duplicitous? I know you care about me, but this stalking behavior is very shameful. You mind Susie's existence, but if I wanted to be with Susie, I would have been with her long ago. I rolled my eyes, bypassed him, and walked straight to Yanting's door. Lucas jogged a few steps, grabbed my arm. Sophia, stop pretending. I just saw you came by taxi. Has the Shin family gone bankrupt? Are you so poor now that you can't even afford a car? It's not that I look down on you, but you have no qualification to consummate yanting now. If you're pretending to be rich, don't come begging me later when you can't pay. Although my family's business isn't as good as in previous years, it's not to the point where I can't afford a meal. Just because he saw me take a taxi, he thinks my family is about to go bankrupt? I find it hard to understand Lucas's thought process. Loosening my clenched fist, I tried to speak calmly. I think you should eat more walnuts to nourish your brain. Lucas showed an understanding smile again. You still remember I love walnuts? Fine, I won't argue with you this time. It's good that you're here. Today I invited my brothers, and Susie is here too. Perfect timing with everyone present. Apologize to her, and the previous conflicts will dissipate. I retracted the foot that had stepped into yanting. No matter how delicious the food, facing his face, I couldn't eat. As I turned to leave, a figure blocked me. Sister, why do you want to leave when you see me? Susie had changed from her former simplicity, dressed like a wealthy heiress, wearing sky-high heels just to barely match my height. She looked at Lucas with some grievance, then turned to me. Is sister angry about the invitation? You left for 5 years, and when Lucas' brother suddenly said he was getting married, everyone thought I was the bride, so the name was printed wrong. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I couldn't control my feelings. Although it was only 5 years together, it was unforgettable for me. Because the one Lucas' brother loves is you, I'm willing to return him to you. As she spoke, Susie shed a heartbroken tear. Susie, don't cry. Lucas distrustfully pulled Susie into his arms, glaring at me. Sophia, I thought you'd improved, but you're still so unreasonable. I haven't said a word yet, and she's crying. I met Lucas's gaze, my eyes filled with coldness. Lucas was stunned for a moment, then softened his tone. Sophia, you've lived in a wealthy family since childhood. Susie's background is pitiful. You don't understand her inner sensitivity. Although you didn't say anything, your attitude is enough to hurt her. I hope you can apologize to Susie. After all, you're the elder sister, you should take good care of her as a younger sister. I curled a cold smile. Who is her sister? I'm an only child, please don't randomly claim relatives, okay? Also, did I cause her pitiful background? I remember, it was clearly you who killed. Shut up. Lucas showed a disappointed expression. Sophia, if you still want to marry into the Liu family, stop fooling around. Lucas, what's so good about Sophia? Back then, she left without a word to go abroad, no news at all. You drank every day for her. If Susie hadn't discovered early, you'd have had a perforated stomach. Yes, Lucas, we've all seen how good Susie is to you. She waited for you 5 years. From the bottom of our hearts, we only recognize her as our sister-in-law. Sophia, if I were you, I wouldn't have the face to stand here. Hypocritical, it was you who abandoned Lucas back then, and now you can't stand seeing Lucas and Susie in a good relationship, deliberately coming to destroy them. Really disgusting. Lucas's group of fair-weather friends, seeing that he and Susie hadn't entered the private room for a long time, came out to look and encountered our three-way confrontation, immediately uniting to denounce me. Susie shrank in Lucas's arms, her eyes slightly red, with that teardrop hanging at the corner, about to fall but not. She took off the bracelet from her wrist, reluctantly handing it to me. Sister, this is the bracelet Auntie gave me. She said only the Liu family's daughter-in-law is qualified to wear it. Today, I'm returning it to its rightful owner. Lucas intercepted, putting the bracelet back on her. What my mom gave you is yours, no need to wrong yourself. Susie raised a smile, showing happiness, then froze because she heard Lucas say, you don't need to worry about Sophia's side. I bought a top-quality glass-type jadeite, planning to make it into a bracelet for her as compensation. My face also froze. I took a deep breath and said word by word, I'm married, and I have 2 children. The surroundings fell silent, but Lucas unhurriedly let go of Susie and paced to me. Sophia, stop making such jokes. Even if you're sulking, you shouldn't tell such a big lie. I've checked long ago, your marital status is unmarried, and it's even less possible for you to have children. Or are you saying you ran away pregnant 5 years ago and gave birth to a pair of children for me? Lucas's brothers burst into laughter, and Susie stamped her foot secretly in anger. I silently took out my phone, planning to show them my two cute little darlings. Perhaps it was telepathy, a video call came in. I answered, and two identical chubby little balls appeared on the screen. Mommy. Two milky childish voices sounded simultaneously, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Lucas's breath hitched. He snatched my phone, staring fixedly at the two little figures on the screen. They looked only a bit over 2 years old, absolutely impossible to be 5. Uncle, who are you? Can you give the phone back to Mommy? DeBeo looked puzzled at this strange uncle opposite. Lucas breathed rapidly, hands trembling. Who is your mommy? Mommy is Mommy. DeBeo was puzzled. Brother is so dumb, Mommy's name is Sophia. Xiaobao waved his little pink fists twice. Smack, the phone fell to the ground, the screen instantly black. The bullet comments exploded. Oh my goodness, what's the situation? The male lead got cuckolded? If it was a runaway with the ball plot, the kids should at least be 4 or 5, so everyone who understands knows. Don't guess blindly upstairs. Have you forgotten this is a wife-chasing crematorium story? The children are just obstacles designed by the author for chasing the wife. Maybe it's the female lead's test for the male lead? These two babies are so cute, like glutinous rice balls. Auntie really wants to kiss them. At this moment, my mind was entirely on the suddenly interrupted video. DeBeo and Xiaobao wouldn't be scared to cry, right? I picked up the phone, constantly trying to turn it on, but no matter how I pressed, the phone remained black. Looking at Lucas standing aside in pain, I slapped his face. Smack, crisp and loud. Lucas glared at me incredulously. Sophia, you dare hit me? For 2 bastards, you actually hit me? Smack, I gave another slap. Lucas grabbed my wrist, his eyes filled with unrelenting gloom. Are you so unable to endure loneliness? Just after separating from me, you hooked up with a wild man. Tell me, who is it? Anyone who dares touch my woman, I'll make him die a horrible death. Looking at the hysterical man in front of me, I suddenly felt it was meaningless. Belated affection is cheaper than grass, let alone this nauseating so-called deep affection. Seeing I didn't speak, Lucas seemed to think of something, showing a contemptuous expression. Sophia, you weren't deceived outside, gave birth to 2 bastards, and then abandoned, right? Susie also seized the opportunity, holding Lucas's other hand. Sister, how can you not love yourself like this? Lucas' brother waited bitterly for you for 5 years, is this how you treat him? How are you worthy of Lucas' brother like this? I originally thought fulfilling you two would make Lucas' brother happy, now it seems, I won't let go. Lucas's buddies also advised him one after another. Lucas, this shameless woman can't be wanted, marrying her home would be a joke for the Liu family. Let her get lost, only Susie's deep affection is worthy of the grand wedding Lucas carefully prepared. Lucas closed his eyes, brows furrowed, and after a moment, relaxed. He released my wrist, flung me away, then took Susie's hand, interlocking fingers. In 3 days, I invite everyone to Hill Manor to attend my wedding with Susie. Susie excitedly flushed red, casting a triumphant glance at me. As if saying, see, you can't compete with me at all. Lucas also looked at me, his eyes full of complexity. Sophia, originally the one I wanted to lead into the marriage hall was you, but you didn't cherish it, messing around outside. Our Liu family can't accept someone like you as the matriarch. So I can't fulfill the promise from back then. Although all this is your own fault, I still can't let go of you. He sighed, his voice carrying some bitterness. We were childhood sweethearts, I really didn't expect we'd come to this step. You figured I have you in my heart and am helpless against you, right? Sophia, you have no heart. But why can't I let go of you? Lucas murmured, his voice choking. Sophia, right now you're not worthy to be my wife, but I'm willing to reserve a place for you. As long as you send away the 2 bastards, I can accept you again. Susie is understanding and tolerant, As long as you don't cause trouble, she will surely accommodate you. I was almost laughed to anger. How big is his face, to actually want me to be his mistress? Jealousy flashed in Susie's eyes, but on the surface, she pretended to be magnanimous. Sister, this is your last chance. As long as you're willing to turn over a new leaf and serve Lucas' brother well with me, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones and accept you. A black line slid down my forehead. First, I won't send away the children, and I'm even less willing to have any relationship with Lucas. Second, Miss Susie, don't hate me anymore. I don't want to compete with you for a man at all. Please don't hypocritically call me sister. Aren't you tired of pretending like this? Third, I sincerely wish you two 100 years of harmony and early birth of a precious son. Lucas was convinced in his heart that I was just being stubborn. He patiently said, all right, don't stand at the door, let's go into the private room. Sophia, you love Yanting's Buddha jumps over the wall and squirrel mandarin fish the most. I'll order them for you later. Stop throwing little tantrums with me, my patience is limited. Bullet comments floated by. I feel the plot direction is a bit strange. The male lead seems unable to understand human language. It's not just the male lead who can't understand human language. The female supporting character and the male lead's group of brothers all can't understand human language. Inexplicably feel that the female lead baby is too. A normal person staying with a group of mentally ill people must be very exhausting. I was indeed very exhausted. Fight, I definitely can't beat this group. Talk? How to communicate if they don't understand human language? Call for help? The phone is broken. I turned and left. Susie's voice carried secret joy. Why is sister leaving? Is she dissatisfied with Lucas' brother's arrangement? Humph, she's too ashamed to come, forget about her. We'll eat ourselves, and later have Sean pack a portion of what she loves and send it over. Lucas's voice floated distantly into my ears, and I couldn't help but quicken my pace. When I got home, the sun had already set. Sean was waiting at my door. Seeing me get out of the car, he placed the packed food box on the ground, just blocking my path. The packing bag had Yanting printed on it. Even through the bag, I could smell a rich aroma. Take it away, I said coldly. Sean was full of disdain. Miss Sophia, now you're just Lucas's mistress. What qualification do you have to defy him? I advise you to obediently pick up the food on the ground. Don't anger Lucas again, or you won't even get this bit of charity. Get lost. I kicked the packing box away, without even glancing at him, and walked straight into the villa. The next day, I found a familiar gold-embossed invitation at the door. It seemed left by Sean yesterday. Groom, Lucas, bride, Susie. I held my forehead with my hand. Does Lucas want me to attend his wedding that much? Then, as he wishes. Hill Manor covers nearly 10,000 acres, surrounded by mountains on 3 sides and facing the sea on one, with beautiful scenery like a fairyland in a painting. My former dream was to hold a dreamlike wedding at Hill Manor. This wish was realized long ago. That person even bought Hill Manor and gave it to me as a wedding gift. From that day on, I opened Hill Manor for free weddings for lovers, but limited to 1 couple per month, with destined ones drawing the opportunity. After sending someone to investigate, I found that this time an insider took money and manipulated to give the opportunity to Lucas. I told the Hill Manor manager to arrange as usual, surely giving Lucas an unforgettable wedding. 2 days passed in a flash. On the wedding day, I arrived at Hill Manor with bodyguards. The wedding area was on the island in the lake. The bodyguards had gone in ahead, blending into the crowd. The attendant at the entrance, after looking at my invitation, directly stopped me. Miss Sophia, your invitation is special. The bride specifically instructed that you wait outside until the ring exchange is completed before entering the inner venue. Is Susie trying to set rules for me? I didn't stop. Continuing inside, the attendant chased up wanting to grab me. Are you sure you want to grab my clothes? This haute couture gown I'm wearing is worth 3 million. Hearing the price, the attendant dared not stop me and retreated back to the entrance in fright. There were quite a few people on the lake island attending the wedding, gathered in 2s and 3s, discussing business or chatting and laughing. Susie had felt her eyelid twitching since early morning. Although she had instructed the attendant not to let me in, she still kept watching the entrance. As soon as I stepped into the inner venue, her gaze stuck to me. "Which family's miss is that? She looks super elegant. She's really beautiful, more dazzling than today's bride." Seeing everyone's attention on me, ignoring that she was today's protagonist, Susie was so angry her teeth itched, she rushed in front of me. "How did you get in?" I retorted sarcastically, "Didn't you invite me?" Susie raised her voice, I clearly told. "Why are you afraid of me coming in? Could it be that if I come, Lucas will give up marrying you?" She was choked by me, her face looking ugly. "How could I be afraid of you? I just think you're not worthy to tarnish my pure wedding with Lucas' brother. Someone, drive her out." Two security personnel walked towards me, recognizing my identity at a glance. Because I had greeted them in advance, they didn't expose my identity. But they wouldn't obey Susie and drive me out. What a joke, who dares to drive out the boss? Seeing the two unmoving, Susie was furious. "What's wrong with you two? I order you to drive her out. Immediately, right now. Otherwise, I'll make you pack up and leave at once." "Miss Susie, I think you've mistaken something. We are Hill Manor staff and are not under your command." Susie's face alternated between pale and red. "Do you know the Lou group? I'm Lucas's future wife. If you dare disrespect me, I'll make you regret it." "Miss Susie, please do not disrupt the order, otherwise, we have the right to reclaim the venue and blacklist the Lou group, never cooperating again." "Enough, in public, what do you look like behaving this way?" The commotion here was not small. Lucas saw Susie arguing with the Manor security and immediately came to stop it. "It seems your background is ultimately a shortcoming, short-sighted. Do you know that after today, your every word and action represents the Lou family? I hope you can integrate into high society soon and not embarrass the Lou family." Seeing Lucas really angry, Susie cautiously tugged his sleeve. "Lucas' brother, I didn't mean it, it's all because these security guards are disobedient." Lucas covered her mouth, his face gloomy. "Be cautious in words and deeds. The power behind Hill Manor is said to be the Pei family." Susie's face suddenly turned pale. "That legendary Pei family?" "Yes. The top aristocratic family in China, the Pei family. Now you know why I told you not to talk nonsense. If we offend the Pei family, our small Lou group is nothing in front of them." Hearing Lucas seriously explaining the Pei family to Susie, I couldn't help but chuckle. Lucas looked at me, and the next second, amazement appeared in his eyes. "Sophia, you look really beautiful today." Susie coughed lightly, and he came back to his senses. "I'm getting married today. The regret is that the bride isn't you. But in my heart, I've always placed you in the most important position. You say you don't care, but I know you love me in your heart, otherwise, with your temper, you wouldn't have come today at all." I made a pause gesture, fake smiling. "If you insist on thinking that way, I can't help it. I just feel extremely fortunate not to have entered your Lou family door." Just as I was about to turn and leave, two little kids ran over like little balls, mumbling, "Mommy, Debeo, and Xiaobao are here." The brightest smile in recent days appeared on my face. I squatted down, hugged the two milk dumplings into my arms, one on each side, and kissed each on the forehead. "Debeo, Xiaobao, who brought you here?" "Grandma." The two little ones said in unison, and only then did I see my mom chasing over, panting. "You two little ancestors, run slower." I was just about to ask why the kid's dad didn't come, when I heard Lucas ask, "Auntie, is Sophia really married?" My mom probably also felt speechless, but Lucas was someone she watched grow up from childhood. As a child, he was upright. She quite favored Lucas as a future son-in-law, but somehow, one day Lucas went astray. After the incident 5 years ago, my mom, feeling sorry for me, naturally disliked Lucas greatly. "Yes, married." The tone was neither cold nor warm. I originally thought Lucas had some self-awareness and would leave himself. Who knew he stepped closer, in front of my mom, his eyes red. "Auntie, don't help Sophia deceive me. Even after 5 years apart, Sophia and I still love each other deeply. I hope you can fulfill us." My mom was greatly shocked, her mind racing. Lucas, have you gone mad? Today is your wedding day with that Susie or whatever, why are you dragging my daughter into it? If you don't want face, we do. Daydreaming in broad daylight, actually fantasizing about my daughter being your mistress? Who dares to covet my wife? The tone was flat, but carried an inherent pressure that reached everyone's ears present. Bullet comments suddenly scrolled, holy shit, what's going on, big shot entrance vibe. Haven't you noticed? The male lead tag on Lucas disappeared. How did the male lead's name become Harrison? Harrison, my husband, approached with steady steps, step by step. He reached out to buckle me in his arms, one hand gently stroking my waist, declaring sovereignty. Who is he? Lucas's face changed drastically, jumping out to question me. Such an obvious answer, yet he still unwillingly asked me again. I gently tugged Harrison's tie, he chuckled lightly, proactively lowering his head. Looking at the thin lips close at hand, I kissed them. A blush appeared on my cheeks. After calming my breath, I introduced to Lucas, my husband, Harrison. Lucas's pupils contracted sharply, as if hearing something unacceptable. No. Sophia, did he force you? The one you love has always been only me, right? I will definitely snatch you back from him. As he spoke, scarlet hatred burst from Lucas's eyes, like a sharp knife stabbing towards Harrison. Lucas, you're wrong, 5 years ago, our fate was exhausted. Now in my eyes and heart, there's only one person, and that's Harrison. I slightly shifted my steps, blocking in front of Harrison, only to hear him chuckle lowly twice, holding me tighter. I breathed a sigh of relief. The guy behind me is a big vinegar jar. If he overthinks, I'm afraid I'll be tormented enough tonight. Lucas's figure paused, roaring, I don't believe it. Unless you prove it to me. Daddy, this uncle is so scary, like a monster that eats children. DeBeo clung to Harrison's leg, hiding behind and peeking. Brother, how many times have I said, there are no monsters in the world? His symptom is probably what the doctor calls mental illness. Xiaobao held his little head high, one hand pointing at Lucas's nose tip. Harrison scoffed, still need proof? DeBeo and Xiaobao are exactly Harrison's mini versions. Anyone with eyes can see we're a family of 4. Seeing Lucas still obsessed with me, Susie clung to his arm, eyes teary. Lucas brother, she's already teamed up with an outside wild man to embarrass you. Do you still want her to continue trampling your true heart? It's the first time someone called me a wild man. Harrison smiled ambiguously. Could it be I've been away from China too long, and no one remembers my name anymore? The onlooking crowd suddenly stirred. Oh my god, he's that legendary Pei family head with iron-fisted methods, Harrison. I once had the fortune to see Harrison from afar. This whole aura, it's him. That outstanding Miss Sophia is actually Harrison's wife, they really match. Lucas's face stiffened, muttering, this is impossible, impossible. His steps kept retreating. Crash, he knocked over the 8-tier champagne tower behind him. The glasses toppled in chain, champagne spilled everywhere, glass shards flying. Lucas was drenched in wine from head to face, looking utterly disheveled. Unfilial son. Do you want to destroy the Liu family? The Liu family was just handed to you, and you caused such a big disaster. Hurry over and apologize to Harrison. Richard was almost angered to death by Lucas. In just a short absence, he offended the Pei family's big Buddha. Harrison, my son has eyes but fails to recognize Mount Tai. You have great magnanimity, spare him this time. Richard, who had a straight back all his life, now hunched, pleading to Harrison. Dad, don't beg him, he's just a fake. Smack, Richard used full force, leaving a bruise on Lucas's face. Bastard, kneel. Apologize to Harrison and Madam. Richard's attitude made Lucas unable to deceive himself anymore. His legs weakened, kneeling in front of us, eyes full of humiliation, face ashen. Harrison, Madam Sophia. It was me who had eyes but no pearls, offending you too, please forgive me. Fine, don't appear in front of me again. I said this faintly, pulling Harrison and the 2 children to prepare to leave. I originally planned to reveal my identity during the wedding to slap their faces and drive the two out of Hill Manor. Unexpectedly, Harrison returned early and appeared here. Richard, fearing the Pay family, forced Lucas to kneel and admit wrong. My purpose was also achieved. Now, Lucas is just an insignificant clown in my eyes. I can't be bothered with his fate. Susie pounced into Lucas's arms, full of heartache. Lucas brother, you still have me. I'll always accompany you. As long as you turn back, I'll be behind you. The speakers on both sides of the venue, originally playing piano music, suddenly emitted scratch-scratch noises. The next second, Susie's voice came from the speakers. Sophia? So what if she has a good background, she's still my defeated opponent. Just shed a few tears and Lucas believes me, she can only slink away out of the country. That idiot Lucas really thinks I love him to death. If not for his family's money, to marry into the Liu family, I wouldn't bother acting with him. Ha ha ha, laughed to death, he still thinks my grandma was killed by him. I targeted him long ago, had my grandma go porcelain touching met a sucker. If not cheat him, who? Lucas seemed struck by lightning, he gripped Susie's wrist, nails digging deep into her flesh. Your gentleness, your kindness, all fake? You bitch, for money, you've been deceiving and using me all along. Susie cried like pear blossoms in rain, constantly shaking her head. It's not like that, Lucas brother, this is all Sophia's setup to frame me. Have you forgotten our 5 years of bits and pieces? My love can't be fake. Lucas, unwilling to hear her sophistry, roared, in your heart, you're still mocking me as a fool, right? Played around by you bitch, if not for your instigation, how would I have misunderstood with Sophia? Without you, Sophia wouldn't have left me. Susie's hand was almost crushed by Lucas, she struggled desperately but couldn't break free. Stimulated by the malice in Lucas's eyes, she no longer pretended, sneering, that's right, you're an idiot. If not for your good birth, do you think I'd look at you? I coaxed you for 5 years, even a dog should be moved by me, but you were ambiguous with me while still thinking of marrying Sophia. Lucas, you're really disgusting. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Lucas grabbed Susie's neck, falling into madness. Susie nearly suffocated, her long nails constantly scratched at Lucas. To break free, she used all her strength to kick fiercely at Lucas's groin. Ugh, Lucas was kicked in the vital spot, pain making veins bulge. He flung Susie into the pile of broken glass from the collapsed champagne tower. Susie's exposed skin was instantly cut, she rolled on the ground in pain, the more she moved, the more wounds. At my hand signal, security personnel immediately went forward to stop the furious Lucas. Why stop them? Dog biting dog isn't interesting. Harrison pinched my hand, whispering in my ear. I was somewhat helpless, I had already guessed that the exposure of Susie's true face just now was his doing. This is where we got married, don't dirty it. Harrison looked relaxed, seeming very satisfied with my answer, but said, as long as you're not reluctant about your ex-boyfriend. I laughed, is he worth your jealousy? Not just anyone can catch my eye. I knew my wife only has eyes for me. He lowered his head to capture my lips. My mom quickly covered the 2 children's eyes, oh dear, shame shame, debao xiaobao don't look. At this time, bullet comments also popped up. I remember the original ending was, Sophia forgave Lucas, the two held hands, growing old together. Lucas is clearly the male lead, how did he go offline like this? How does such a scum man deserve to be the male lead? Maybe the author changed the story. Harrison and the female lead baby are the perfect match. Help. My mind is full of the sweet kiss of the young couple just now, pulling a small stool to wait for the subsequent shy plot haha. The restrained Lucas suddenly trembled all over, as if seeing something unbelievable. His gaze was dazed, then seemed to grasp some crucial information, a gleam bursting in his eyes. Ha ha ha, I'm the male lead. I'm the male lead. Lucas laughed to the sky, a surge of power in his body, breaking free from restraint, rushing in front of me and Harrison. Bodyguards swarmed, blocking Lucas. Harrison, I'm the son of destiny, the master of this world, you get out. Lucas was smug, saying to me again, Sophia, come over, I can forgive you this time. I realized Lucas could also see the bullet comments. Leave it to me. Harrison put away his smile when facing me, looking at Lucas with icy eyes. The two men confronted, Lucas like a mad beast, first charging at Harrison. Harrison's expression unchanged, calmly lifted his leg, kicking Lucas flying. Lucas got up, Harrison kicked again. Get up, kick. Lucas lay on the ground like a dead dog, gasping, while Harrison's shoe firmly stepped on his face. Sophia's male lead can only be me. Get lost. Harrison released his foot, took a tissue to wipe his hand, and threw it on Lucas's face. I realized belatedly, husband, you can see them too? Shoo, Harrison smiled mysteriously, saying in a voice only we could hear, they say they want to see the shy plot. I covered his mouth, threatening with my eyes, go home and deal with you. But in the end, I couldn't deal with him, instead, he pressed me and dealt with me thoroughly. The next day, I rubbed my waist, eating the loving breakfast Harrison made himself. He casually mentioned that after we left, Susie mocked Lucas as a stray dog, and furious Lucas used glass to slash her face rotten. Finally, the police took both away. A farce came to an end. Not long after, the Lou group was heavily in debt, on the verge of bankruptcy. Richard denounced the unfilial son and removed Lucas from the family. Susie sued Lucas for intentional injury, while Lucas sued Susie for fraud. Both ended up in prison. I looked at Harrison holding my waist, DeBeo hugging my left leg, Xiaobao clinging to my right leg. Husband, children, warm Kong head. This life is enough.